What's going on, everybody? We got lots of news from the last couple days. Sorry I missed yesterday, but we got lots of news to go over regarding the UFC. So let's go ahead and get right on to it. All right, first up, we got UFC 317 loses a major fight featuring Israel Adesanya's former rival just days before the pay-per-view event. It's a little over a week. It's a little more than just days. I mean, technically everything is just days, but let's see who it is. UFC 317 will include the coronation of the new lightweight champion as the former featherweight title holder Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira clash in the main event. Islam Makhachev will vacate the UFC title for a lightweight championship. Dang, I was on such a run there for a move up to welterweight and is expected to compete against Jack Della Maddalena later this year. UFC 317's main event booking wasn't announced until last month as Makhachev pondered his next move while watching Bilal Muhammad's loss to Maddalena at UFC 315 after Maddalena defeated Muhammad by unanimous decision. Makhachev got the clarity he needed and he announced his move to the welterweight division. Despite the fanfare of UFC 317 on June 28th, the card lost its second fight in a week as reported Tuesday. Oh no! Paulo Costa backing out of another fight. Yikes. Who cares? UFC 317 takes another big hit just days before the UFC International Fight Week. A middleweight matchup between Paulo Costa and Roman Kopylov, two of the division's most dangerous strikers, was booked to fuel the UFC 317 card, but according to reports, Costa versus Kopylov has been removed from the upcoming pay-per-view due to undisclosed reasons. Paulo Costa probably could not make weight for drinking too much wine. MMA journalist Robert Chiles was the first to report on this news of Costa versus Kopylov cancellation. MMA Fighting's Damon Martin later reported that Costa vs. Kopylov will be rescheduled for UFC 318 in New Orleans on July 19th. Oh, that'd be fun. The card is headlined by Dustin Poirier's retirement title fight against BMF title holder Max Holloway, and we will actually also get to that in a little bit later. It is unlikely that UFC will look to book a day's notice bout to help give 317 a boost after a heavyweight matchup between Justin Tafa and Honita Denise, I think that's how you say his name, was pulled due to a Tafa injury. Have his brother come in and step up again for him. It's uncertain if the matchmakers will find a replacement to opponent to fight Denise. Okay, so two pretty solid fights are off the UFC 317 card. So what do you guys think that they will do? Do you think they're going to add last minute replacements? Do you think they're going to move a couple prelims up? I'm not too sure. I like the main event, the co-main event. That's all I kind of really care about with that title fight or with those title fights. But we shall see. I think well, if it's going to be rescheduled for next month, one of them could make weight. I'm going to guess Paulo Costa, but that's just because he bothers me. But hey, man, shit happens. What can you do? What do you guys think about this? Go ahead and let me know down below. Right, going into our next story for today. Heavyweight Chama, 243-pound Alex Pereira leaves fans wondering if Aspinall or Jones is next. Ooh. We've been talking about this. Everybody been wanting to see him at heavyweight. Uh-oh. Somehow, Alex Pereira is always the biggest man in the room, despite starving himself down to 185 pounds a couple years ago in his bid to dethrone Israel Adesanya. Poatan always looked massive in the cage. His eventual move to light heavyweight surprised no one. After the 20-pound jump, Pereira has appeared bigger and stronger than most of his peers throughout his rapid rise to double champion status. Unfortunately, Pereira's title reign ended back in March with a decision loss to Magomed Ankalaev at UFC 313. Though he's been promised an immediate rematch, there have been some alleged negotiation issues. Ankalaev claims that the Brazilian has turned down the rematch opportunity more than once. Maybe it's time for a different plan. On Tuesday, Pereira posted a video to social media stepping on a scale. Being fully clothed will account for a couple pounds, but Poatan still hit heavyweight numbers at 243.8 pounds. Naturally, this spurred fans' imaginations, and many comments were wondering if Pereira would step into the convoluted heavyweight mix that features champions like Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall. It's worth noting Pereira started his fight camp just last week. Either the matchup could be in the work depending on the circumstance. Pereira versus Jones has been discussed plenty in the past, and the BMF title bout easily, and could be BMF title bout easily. Meanwhile, Jones finally has retired. There would be no higher profile title defense for Aspinall than a chance to deny Pierre's triple champion attempt. Either matchup would be a massive main event, potentially more high profile than the Ankalaev booking. A rematch first should be considered more likely, but Pierre certainly has the size for go bigger opportunities. Ooh, so with this, yeah, that is causing some fan speculation, including me myself, because didn't Aspinall say he has a fight booked and planned and he's getting ready for it? And Alex Pierre started camp last week. It may just be a coincidence. He's most likely just going to fight at 205 again against Ankalaev, but I don't know. John Jones being real annoying. So if they tell John Jones, yo, Alex Pierre is fighting Tom Aspinall for the belt, like, fuck off. Then Jones would be like, yo, let me fight him. And then they're going to be like, okay, well, then you can only fight Aspinall. And then Jones would be like, all right, fine. So I'm not too sure. It's most likely just a 205 thing. He's got 6 weeks to shred less than 40 pounds. So take off less than 40 pounds. He could do it. So it's probably just going to be an Ankalaev rematch, which kind of sucks. I'd honestly rather see him at heavyweight. The heavyweight division's ass. It's ass. But with that, let me know down below, what do you guys think of Mr. Chama himself weighing in at 243 pounds? Would you like to see him in the heavyweight division or keep it at the 208 or 205? Okay, in other not good Conor McGregor news, this fool decides to punch people in a club. Why is this guy clubbing, bro? You're like almost 40. Stay at home with your kids. Train. Fight. What the fuck are you doing? It's so annoying. Conor McGregor has just scored his first knockout since 2020. That's pretty funny. Instead, McGregor, a former Ultimate Fighting champion, two-division champion, and box office behemoth, he was recently caught on camera punching a fellow patron at Pacha nightclub in Ibiza, Spain. The alarming footage was obtained by The Sun. In the video, McGregor and the man engage in a brief verbal exchange before the embattled Irish sports star suddenly delivers 2 left-hand punches while holding a drink in his right hand. I mean, good for him for landing those punches and holding a drink at the same time. The man collapsed on the floor. McGregor entourage swiftly intervened, separating him from the others in the club. That's kind of funny. You get a little pop pop. Let's see. Let's watch it. Let's go ahead and watch it. Okay. Whoops. Hey, man. So this could be a lot of different things. This could be him mouthing off saying like, yo, you suck. You pulled out of a toe, you're a bitch. And McGregor's like, fuck you, I'll show you a bitch. And it could also just be like in the guy from Ultimate Fighter. He's like, you can't knock me out, bro. And then the guy's like, hey, let me get 2 hooks from Conor. And then so Conor's like, are you sure? You don't want to do it. It's going to hurt. And the guy's like, nah, fuck it, do it. Could be that. Who knows? Most likely it's not the latter. But a witness told The Sun clearly something was said to annoy him and he reacted very badly. The guy seemed to fall on the floor and his mates came to pick him up and get him away. There weren't consequences for Conor, but the guy he punched was taken away and I didn't see him again. Another witness revealed to The Sun that the man McGregor punched was removed by security and he continued partying till around 6 a.m. Jesus. The first ever simultaneous double champion has a documented history of altercations in nightlife settings. In fact, McGregor was accused of assaulting a woman in Ibiza back in 2023, and he infamously slugged a 50-year-old bar patron back in 2019. Ibiza is not a good place for this guy to be. McGregor, 36, has not competed in mixed martial arts since breaking his leg against Dustin Poirier at UFC 264 nearly 4 years ago. Fuck, it's already been 4 years since that fight. His return to UFC has been a wild roller coaster with no firm date in sight, if ever. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, so what do you guys think about Conor McGregor punching another dude in the face at a nightclub in Ibiza, Spain, just 2 years after supposedly inappropriately touching a woman there? Ibiza does not sound like the club place for McGregor. I think the only place McGregor should be at night is at home with his family or in the gym training. Come on, dude. We want to see you fight. You're still like the #1 guy in the sport as far as a draw. Quit doing stupid shit, man. This is so annoying and it sucks This is like one of the most respected fighters that ever lived, and then he just fucked it all up ever since he fought Mayweather. This goes long past 2020. This goes long before he broke his leg. Ever since he fought Mayweather, it's just been a different dude. He wasn't as hungry. He wasn't as dedicated. He wasn't as anything. Like, I mean, dedicated to his family and everything like that. Sure, yeah, whatever. But like to the sport, like, it's just been nothing but talk. And it kind of just sucks, man. So it's hard to stick up for the guy and root for the guy and like want to see the guy fight, and especially want to see him win when he just keeps doing this dumb stuff like this. It's like John Jones. No, for a long time, nobody gave two fucks about whether or not he came back to the UFC or whether he won or lost or whatever, because he kept doing stupid shit outside. So I don't know, man. Grow your hair back out, trim your beard, and get in the goddamn gym. Come on, let's see you in the UFC, not in the nightclub. That's not a good way to end your career. All right, with that, let me know what you guys think about Conor McGregor and his issues down below. Okay, moving on. Whoa, average there. So the UFC releases two legendary Hall of Famers, or releases what? Well, I could have just swore I saw the word two there. Okay. UFC quietly releases legendary Hall of Famer Jose Aldo as well as a historic tough winner. Jose Aldo released again from the UFC. I think the first time he actually retired and then he came back. I think it's kind of ridiculous he's released. If the guy wants to fight, let him fight. All of his fights have been fun as fuck ever since he came back. And a couple of them were BS losses. They're decision losses that he should have won. Let's read, though. In a move that will surprise absolutely no one, absolutely nobody, former UFC champion Jose Aldo is no longer on the roster. Indeed, the two-time featherweight champion who officially retired from mixed martial arts after another terrible decision at UFC 315 last month has been removed from UFC's active roster. Okay, yeah, if he retired, then yeah, remove him. I forgot about that. On top of that, the former two-time Ultimate Fighter winner Brad Katana has also been removed from the roster, which means he has been released from his respective contract and/or the promotion decided not to extend it. So that sucks for Katana. He was released, and then he was on Ultimate Fighter again, won Ultimate Fighter, and then released again. Aldo, 32-10, retired again after dropping a razor-thin unanimous decision against Zabi in UFC 315 last month, 7 months after dropping a controversial decision to Mario Bautista in Salt Lake City. I thought he won that fight too. Hall of Famers return. The Hall of Famers return from his first retirement was extremely underwhelming, mainly because of the absurd, weird, and boring matchmaking. Nevertheless, he did give fans the one win over Jonathan Martinez in his hometown of Rio de Janeiro at UFC 301 back in May of 2024. Aldo departs UFC with a 14-9 record with the most successful title defenses in UFC featherweight history. 7. Ooh. I think. How many does Volk have? 5? Or did he have 4 and then he just got it back? Oh, yep, that's gonna be tough to. I think Topuria could have beat that easily, but whatever. Katana 14-5. Meanwhile, unfortunately, did not have a great second run in the promotion. After winning tough for the second time in an absolute classic against Cody Gibson, the Canadian dropped 3 of his next 4 fights, including losses to Garrett Armfield, Gene Matsumoto, and most recently was knocked out for the first time in his career by Baskat Alkmanen. While it was kind of a shocking cut because of his tough history and the fact the UFC needs Canadians to fill cards, Katana only delivered 1 finish and 9 fights. Oh my gosh, that's pretty bad. Okay, so what do you guys think about that? Jose Aldo being retired makes sense that they drop him, and Brad Katana, unfortunately, UFC's just not for him. He gets there and then doesn't. So with that, let me know what you guys think down below. Do you think they should go to BKFC, PFL? Do you think they should stay retired? What do you think they should do? Go ahead and give me your thoughts down below. Okay, in good news, or at least I think it's good news, Dana White will move on quickly if John Jones versus Tom Aspinall isn't finalized in the next couple weeks. The draw-out saga between John Jones and Tom Aspinall may finally come to an end soon. The highly anticipated fight pitting champion against champion has been talked about for months, years, basically, but there's seemingly been no real movement on actually securing an agreement for John Jones to face Aspinall sometime in 2025. Jones, who holds the UFC heavyweight title, has hinted at both retirement and possibly returning to compete again, while Aspinall, as the interim champion, has been anxiously awaiting his next assignment after his last fight back in July of 2024 when he knocked out Curtis Blades in the first round. Now UFC CEO Dana White says he expects to know for certain if John Jones versus Tom Aspinall is happening or not very soon. If the matchup fails to materialize, he's ready to move the division forward in rapid fire fashion. Thank God. Let's get it done. I don't know. We'll see how this thing plays out over the next couple of weeks. White told Jim Rome regarding Jones versus Aspinall. If we can't get this fight done, we'll move on quickly. I said a couple of weeks. We'll have answers in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, didn't you also say it's happening like 4 times? You said it's done. It's happening. We're just going to announce it soon, and it fucking didn't happen. Come on, bro. While awaiting word on whether or not he'll get to face Jones next, Aspinall went as far as saying the former lightweight champion was retired, and he was looking forward to his next challenge in an undisputed champion, or as undisputed champion. His frustration has continued to boil over as Aspinall waits on word about his future while still holding out hope that the UFC can book him against Jones. For his part, Jones claimed that he and Aspinall agreed to let the UFC make any announcements regarding the promoted fight between them, but he hasn't said if a deal is imminent or if he's potentially contemplating retirement instead. One thing is for certain, Jones isn't running or scared from Aspinall. Listen, John Jones has been an interesting human being to deal with since the day he got here, Dana White said. But what I will say about him is you will never hear me out talking about he's the wait. But what I will say about him, you would never hear me out talking about he's the GOAT and he's this and he's that. If John Jones didn't want to fight people, John Jones has never ever said, I'm afraid to fight this guy, or I don't like this fight for me, or any of that stuff. One time his coach at the time back in the day, I don't know if he's still with him or whatever. I think that's the only fight we ever canceled. Had to cancel the show because of this, because he wouldn't fight Chael Sonnen because his coach thought it was a bad idea to take a fight on late notice, but it had nothing to do with John Jones. John Jones has never turned down an opponent here or been afraid to fight anybody. That it's involving Jones and the fight cancellation took place all the way back in 2012 when he was scheduled to defend his light heavyweight championship title against Dan Henderson. Unfortunately, Henderson suffered an injury, and the UFC attempted to replace him with Sonnen. Jones ultimately passed on the fight without the ability to find an adequate replacement for the main event, and the UFC canceled the show. Oh, is that when they turned it from a pay-per-view into just a regular fight night? It remains to be seen if Jones is going to be ultimately face Aspinall, but White seems confident he'll have an answer soon or will potentially go down as the biggest heavyweight fight in UFC history. Okay. At least Dana White's saying, yo, man, hey, we're going to move on if this stuff doesn't get figured out. So, what do you guys think? Do you believe Dana White? I kind of don't, but at least he's saying something. And if not, hey, man, Alex Pereira just weighed in at 243. Let's get Alex Pereira versus Tom Aspinall. Let's do it. Even if it's Jones versus Alex Pereira, who cares? Let's just get a heavyweight title fight going. The heavyweight division is so slow. And I promise you, Aspinall will be the most active heavyweight champion we have ever seen, as long as he doesn't get hurt, obviously. And he wants the belt so he can be that active champion. Let's get Aspinall what he deserves. Come on. With that, let me know down below, what do you guys think about Jones versus Aspinall being finalized in the next couple of weeks, whether or not it happens? The answer will come. I'm hoping, what is this, June, mid-June? I'm going to assume by the week after International Fight Week or the week of International Fight Week, we will actually know if they will move forward or if the deal has been signed on paper, not verbally. Go to like I said, be sure to let me know what you guys think in the comments. All right, moving on from that, a couple pay-per-views up at UFC 319. UFC 319 adds several new fights to fight card headlined by DDP versus Khamzat Chimaev. The upcoming UFC 319 fight card in Chicago on August 16th has added several supporting fights to the show, headlined by middleweight champion DDP defending his title against Khamzat Chimaev. UFC officials announced the new matchups on Tuesday. Edson Barbosa is returning to the lightweight division after spending the past few years competing at 145 as he faces Drakkar Klose. Ooh, that's going to be a really good fight. In an intriguing fight on the undercard with a 3-3 record over his past 6 fights, Barbosa gets back to his old stomping grounds at lightweight, where his perennial contender for the most of his career, while Klose looks to add another veteran to his resume while also attempting to bounce back from his loss to Joel Alvarez in his most recent outing in December 2024. The always exciting King Green tries to bounce back from 2 consecutive losses in a row when he faces Diego Ferreira in a lightweight bout at 319. Green has suffered through a tough run lately with a 1-3 record in his past 4 fights, while Ferreira tries to get back on track after his 2-fight knockout streak was stopped when he lost the decision to Grant Dawson back in February. Okay. So there's 2 fights that have been added to this card now. That's Edson Barbosa and Drakkar Klose. And I'm surprised it's on the undercard. I could see that being, that could be like high up on the prelims. or like the main prelim or even the first card on the pay per view. So maybe if some people get hurt, they'll actually go ahead and move them up to the pay per view because I think that's a really good fight. And then Bobby Green's coming back against Diego Ferreira. All right, so let's see who's on the card. Here's the UFC 319 lineup with more fights still to be announced. So in the main event, you got DDP versus Khamzat Chimaev. Co-main event, you got Jared Cannonier versus MVP. I think that'll be a really fun fight. Jared Cannonier is just a beast, and Michael Van Page is so weird. So it's a good fight. Mearshart versus Olajaychuk. Edson Barbosa versus Drakkar Close. King Green versus Diego Ferreira. Karine Silva versus JJ Aldrich. Brian Battle versus Ruzabov. I like Brian Battle a lot. I honestly think he could one day be champion, and I hope so. He's got a mouth on him. He would bring a lot of draw in. He knows how to sell fights, and he's only getting better at it. And he's also a good fighter. So I'm very excited for him. Been following him ever since he was on Tough with his freaking long ass curly hair. So I'm really looking forward to him fighting again. He's always an entertaining fight. I think his last fight was it Sphere or was it a different time? Either way, let's continue. Tim Elliott versus Kai Asakura. That'll be a really good fight. Chase Hooper versus Alexander Hernandez. Come on, Chase the Dream Hooper. Let's get this W. Fuck Alexander Hernandez. And Jessica Andrade versus Lupe Godinez. This is a really good fight card so far, and they're gonna add more. This could go down as one of the best pay-per-views of the year. Go ahead and let me know what you guys think about this UFC 319 fight card. Are you excited for it? Who do you want to see on the fight card? Are you excited for these new fights that have been added? I hope nobody gets injured because this is a really good card so far. I don't want to have to watch this in the Shadow Realm. Please, I love paying for the pay-per-views when they're worth it. So with that, again, let me know down below what you think about UFC 319 so far. Okay. Next up, Dustin Poirier did not want to originally fight Max Holloway as his retirement fight. Dustin Poirier chose an alternative opponent to fight Max Holloway for UFC retirement. Let's see who he wanted to be. Who do you guys think it is? I already read the article, so I know, but it was who I thought it was going to be anyways. Justin Poirier has admitted that Max Holloway was not his choice of opponent before his retirement fight in July, with another name having been on the Diamond's mind. When Poirier faces Holloway UFC 318 main event on July 19th, it will mark their third clash and the final time that Poirier competes as a mixed martial artist. The American 36 is widely regarded as one of the best UFC fighters to ever win an undisputed title in the promotion. Although Poirier did hold the interim lightweight belt, or to not hold, you guys know what I mean. Prior to 2019 defeat by Khabib Nurmagomedov, who retained the regular belt in that contest. Poirier, in fact, earned the interim belt by outpointing Holloway, who held the featherweight title belt at the time. He previously submitted Holloway in 2012 in the Hawaiians UFC's first fight. In a full circle moment in their trilogy, the fight will be Poirier's final contest, although he initially asked for UFC for a different trilogy bout. When asked why Poirier chose to face Holloway this summer, he told Full Violence, I didn't. I chose Justin Gaethje. UFC, they wanted Max for some reason. I don't know, because he had the BML. I don't know, but they were high on it. It's got to be a full circle moment because I was Max's first fight in the UFC in his debut, and he's my last fight. It's just kind of cool, man. He's a guy I respect a lot, so it's an important fight for me. I said legends only, and Max is definitely that. Indeed, Holloway's BMF title will be on the line at 155 in Poirier's home state of Louisiana after the 33-year-old took the belt from Gaethje in April 2024. Holloway dominated the American before knocking him out with a faceplant finish in the very last second of their bout, an all-time great moment in the eyes of most UFC fans. In Gaethje's previous fights in July 2023, he knocked out Poirier with a head kick to win the vacant BMF belt. That result also saw Gaethje, the former interim champion, avenge a 2018 knockout loss to Poirier. In Poirier's most recent fight last June, he suffered a fifth-round submission loss to Islam Makhachev. Wait, what? Oh, yeah, sorry. I saw Islam and thought Ilya, as he competed for the lightweight title for the third time, with the result going the same way as his previous two efforts. Dustin Poirier wanted the Justin Gaethje trilogy as his final fight, but UFC wanted Max. Meanwhile, Holloway also came up short in a title fight last time out. Bless suffered a third-round KO loss to Ilia Topuria in October, as the latter retained the featherweight gold. Since those fights, Makhachev has vacated the 155 belt to chase. Makhachev, yeah, geez, these freaking names are confusing me, man. Makhachev has vacated the 155 belt to chase the welterweight belt, and Topuria has given up the 145 belt to chase the lightweight belt. Makachev is expected. I hope both these guys lose their fucking chase belts and just go back to their divisions. Come on. Makachev is expected to challenge JDM later this year after Topuria faces Charles Oliveira for a vacant 155 strap on June 28th. Okay, the only way that I would want Topuria to win, I want Topuria to win, Makachev to lose. Makachev steps back down. We get the Topuria Makachev fight. It won't be as big as it could have been this upcoming fight card, but whatever. Poirier went to the UFC 318 main event with a professional record of 30-9, one no contest, having scored 15 KOs/TKOs, 8 submissions, and 7 decision wins. Meanwhile, Holloway's record stands at 26-8 with 12 KO/TKO wins, 2 submissions, and 12 decisions. Jesus. All right. So what do you guys think about this? Would you have preferred to have seen Dustin Poirier fight Justin Gaethje in the trilogy? I'll be honest, that's the trilogy that I prefer because they're 1-1. He's 2-0 against Max. So like it'll still be a good fight. It'll still be a fun fight, but also who cares? I want to see the decision. How do I say this? The decision-making winner between Gaethje and Poirier because they're 1-1. So let's get that trilogy out. Let's get a grudge match in. But who knows? What do you guys think about this? Excuse me. What do you guys think about this of it not being Gaethje? Who would you rather see Gaethje fight? Maybe Gaethje said no, and they knew he was going to say no because he only wants title fights. Maybe that was the case. So who knows? Let me know what you think about that down below. And would you have rather seen what we're going to get with Dustin versus Max 3, or would you rather have seen Justin Gaethje versus Dustin Poirier 3? Okay. Moving on, we got the Mustache Man supporter himself. Just kidding. Bryce Mitchell is going to go to bantamweight for UFC Abu Dhabi return. Says John Silva was so much bigger than me. Let's see what he says here. I don't want to read because I've been talking a lot and my mouth is dry. So I want to see what he says. Let's see.
James Lynch here for Homa Fight. Always great catching up with my next guest, Thug Nasty, Bryce Mitchell. He's moving down to bantamweight. We're excited for this fight. UFC Abu Dhabi, July 26th. Bryce, how you been, man? How's everything?
I've been great, just
Oh my God,
training,
it's
working
loud.
the farm a bunch, and of course spending time with my family and enjoying everything.
I wouldn't expect anything less. I know you keep life simple. That's great. Tell me about this decision dropping down to bantamweight. I think it took a lot of fans by surprise. Is this something you've been thinking about for a while?
No, I pretty much made up my mind right after this last fight. The guy was so much bigger than me, and I really felt it in the second round. I mean, in the first round, he obviously I could tell he was bigger and stronger in the first round, but it was really the second round where I felt it. But I think that I'm a 35er, and my weight's already come down quite a bit since I started dieting. I got this call like 2 weeks ago, I think. So uh, I'm excited about it, and everything's going good.
All right. So everything's going good. Another late notice fight for Bryce Mitchell. So good for him. Good for the UFC for kind of not really liking him, but still offering him these last minute fights. Maybe they're doing it last minute so that way they think he's just going to keep losing and then just gives up. Maybe that's why they're doing it. Maybe they're being assholes about it. But also good for them for just still saying, hey, we got to fight. Do you want to fight? And also good for Bryce Mitchell for being like, yeah, fuck it. Sure. I'll take a fight. Why not? So that's good. That's pretty much it. He's going down to 135. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think he will be a big 135? Do you think it'll be a quick 135? Do you think it'll be too much of a drain actually for him? Do you think those last few pounds are going to be too hard to get off and he's going to be a little bit slower? I don't know. I'm always excited to see Bryce Mitchell fight. He has a lot of talent and he's really good. So despite the dumb things that he say or the non-dumb things that he say, depending on who you are and what you believe, he's still a good fighter. That's the only thing you can really do at the end of the day is still admit he's a good fighter. So let me know what you guys think about Bryce Mitchell and his decision to move down to 135 in the comments below. And going into our final article of the day. First, what I'm going to do is get rid of this ad. Kamaru Usman teases DDP Dricus Du Plessis super fight in Africa versus Africa showdown. Ooh. I think that could be fun. I think that'd be a good fight. Kamaru Usman is back in the win column. The Nigerian Nightmare started his UFC career with a massive undefeated run that set records and saw him capture UFC gold but a 3-fight losing streak beginning in August 2022 saw him winless until just last weekend. Despite injury and layoff, Usman was able to return in top form, grinding down Joaquin Buckley for a UFC Atlanta main event win. So again, I don't want to read because I've been talking a lot and my mouth is dry. So we're going to listen to him again.
After getting that belt, hey, they've asked and they've waited for years and years for me to go up and get that middleweight strap, and why not? I will relinquish that if Dricus Duplessis is still the champion. All African card, Africa versus Africa, first card in Africa, because UFC is close. UFC is close to getting that done. Hey, South Africa versus Nigeria. I mean, it's a rivalry that's been built forever, a sports rivalry. So I think that's another blockbuster, and I think those are two mega events that you're gonna remember for generations. And so if manifestation is very, very powerful.
Yeah.
And if things start to kind of fall in line, I think we're going to see a pretty interesting next 18 months.
Okay, so with that, these guys, they have wanted UFC Africa for so long. When Nagano was there, he wanted UFC Africa. Usman obviously does. Israel Adesanya does. Could you imagine having all three of them at the time when they were all champions together be on an Africa card and then have like a 3 title fight? That'd be so crazy. And so I'm down for a Kamaru Usman DDP fight. I want to say DDP would take it, but dude, Kamaru Usman looks so good. And it could have just been because Joaquin Buckley wasn't well trained in that part of how he lost. But hey, man, who knows? We'll see. So with that, what do you think about Kamaru Usman saying he would gladly relinquish the belt if he has the welterweight belt to step up to middleweight and fight DDP in Africa if DDP is still champion? I think whether or not DDP is champion, whether he goes through Khamzat or not, I think a DDP and Usman fight is going to be good no matter what. You can have a not PFL. PFL is going to Africa. You can have a UFC fight night in Africa and have them be the main event. I could see DDP coming down to welterweight. So, coming down to welterweight being 170, he could do that. I think no problem. So, with that, I think obviously Kamaru Usman is going to need another win before they give him a title shot. Unfortunately for him, I think he will need 2 wins in total before a title shot, but maybe not. And hey, man, if he has the belt and DDP has the belt, double champ. Come on, let's get it, double champ. So with that, I would love to see UFC go to Africa. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Africa has a lot of great like culture and heritage and everything like that. Hold on, bro. I'm right in the middle of doing something, dude. Wow, crazy. Mm-hmm. All right. So with that, like he just said, sorry about that. Like he just said, DDP versus Africa versus Kamaru. Do you want it? Do you not want it? UFC Africa, are you excited for it? Are you not excited for it? I think the best World Cup that I've ever seen is when they were in Africa, which is why I would love UFC to go to Africa because it just seems like a lot of fun. So with that, that is also it for today, you guys. So go ahead and let me know in the comments, what did you guys think of today's show? What do you think of the articles that we went over? What do you think of all these fights, especially that 319 fight card? That's probably my favorite article we went over because there's a lot of really good fights there. So with that, I am out of here. I will be back at, what time is it? I will be back at 12:30 on this live channel. I'm going to be doing a watch party of 28 weeks later. I have watched 28 days later last night. I know this isn't an MMA range, but this is the live channel, so this is what I'm going to talk about. I watched 28 days later last night. I'll be watching 28 weeks later this afternoon. So come on by around 12:30 if you want to watch along with that with me. And aside from that, if there's good UFC news, I will be back tomorrow. Usually I take Fridays off, but if there's enough news, I'll come in on Friday tomorrow and talk about some more MMA news. Go ahead and let me know down below, again, what you think of today's show and everything like that. Let me know if there's anything that I missed that you thought was interesting. And let me know what I could do to keep upgrading the show, upgrading the way that we do things here, so that way the channel can grow, so that way the sub channels can grow, and I can make a career out of doing this. I love talking about fights. I love talking about movies. I would love to wake up every single day and get paid to do what I love to do. So with that, I'm out of here. I'll see you guys either tomorrow or on Monday. Peace.